Biography: The Wright Brothers, Orville Wright, August 19, 1871, January 30, 1948, and Wilbur Wright, April 16, 1867, May 30, 1912, were American aviation pioneers generally credited with inventing, building, and flying the world's first successful motor-operated airplane. Born, Wilbur was born in 1867 near Millville, Indiana, and Orville was born in Dayton, Ohio, in 1871. Their home had two libraries. The first consisted of books on theology, the second was a large, varied collection. Education: despite his lack of interest in formal credentials, Orville, like Wilbur, was committed to broad learning and supplemented his schooling with a great deal of private study. The brothers in fact had an education comparable to a modern four-year college degree. Died, Wilbur Wright, April 16, 1867, near Millville, Indiana, U.S. May 30, 1912, Dayton, Ohio, and his brother Orville Wright, August 19, 1871, Dayton, January 30, 1948, Dayton, also built and flew the first fully practical airplane, 1905. They lived in Dayton, Ohio, at 7 Hawthorne Street. Their older brothers were Roy Schleen and Lauren. Catherine was their younger sister. Their father, Milton, was the Wright brothers' story. Wilbur, 1867 to 1912, and Orville Wright, 1871 to 1948, were brothers bishop in the Church of the United Brethren in Christ. Wilbur Wright and Orville Wright were the first people to create airplane controls that made fixed-wing controlled flight conceivable. For this they have an iconic and famous legacy. The Wright brothers were Christian. Their father, Milton, was a bishop in the Church of the United Brethren in Christ, and their mother was also a church member. The family moved frequently throughout their childhoods as their father worked for the church. The entire family was very religious. They laughed raucously, from coast to coast, when the Wright brothers announced that they had successfully tested a heavier-than-air flying machine. Incensed, the brothers demonstrated their airplane for a crowd. But this time the laughter continued without interruption. Crashed, on September 17, 1908, Orville and passenger Army Lieutenant Thomas Selfridge took to the skies. The flyer had made 3 uneventful passes over the field before disaster struck. A propeller disconnected from the machine, and with Orville unable to regain control, the Wright flyer crashed. 59 seconds, between 10:35 a.m. and noon on December 17, 1903, the brothers made 4 flights. The first and second were 12 seconds, then 15 seconds on the third, and the final, long flight lasted 59 seconds. In 1903, Americans Orville and Wilbur Wright completed the world's first successful controlled powered flight at Kill Devil Hills near Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. This British Pathé film clip shows the Wright brothers flying in 1908. Answer and explanation: neither of the Wright brothers died in the plane crash. Orville died in 1948 due to cardiac arrest. His brother, Wilbur, died in 1912 after suffering from typhoid fever. Neither brother attended college or even obtained a high school diploma. 9. The Wright brothers only flew together once, though both piloted the planes individually. On May 25, 1910, they took a 6-minute flight piloted by Orville with Wilbur as his passenger. The Wrights began to sell their airplanes in Europe, before returning to the United States in 1909. The brothers became wealthy businessmen, filling contracts for airplanes in Europe and the United States. When it comes to the 1903 flight of Orville and Wilbur Wright, as many as a dozen men have claimed to have flown before them. Supporters of these claims have surfaced over the years. One who has received the most attention is Gustav Whitehead. Longest flight, 852 feet, 59 seconds. In the teeth of a 20-mile-per-hour gale, the Wright brothers make 4 powered flights, the first sustained and controlled flights ever. The longest lasts 59 seconds and covers 852 feet. Just after the fourth flight, a gust of wind rolls the flyer over and dashes it to pieces. The Wright Flyer, also known as the Kitty Hawk, Flyer I or the 1903 Flyer, made the first sustained flight by a manned heavier-than-air powered and controlled aircraft, an airplane, on December 17, 1903.